Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and we have breaking news. Now, this involves the Shipman sisters, Nicola Sturgeon and Jean Freeman. It involves Hamza Yousaf, and it involves my source Merlin, who we now know to be Leslie Roberts. And it's a breaking news story. It's literally about 10 minutes old between that going up and me recording. So it's like literally, I had to wait long enough for to turn the computer on and set everything up just to record. Otherwise it would have been out a few minutes earlier. Literally that hot off the press. So basically what happens is the Scottish Government has said that because they're now ex-ministers, Jean Freeman and Nicola Sturgeon will not be basically facing any breach of ministerial codes because they are no longer ministers. However, Hamza Yousaf is still a minister, is still liable, and could be in a lot of hot water. And of course, as we know, has now reported, Leslie Roberts, has now reported the lot of them, basically, to Police Scotland, who are investigating. And she's given an awful lot of evidence over. This is coming out in this report. I'm wondering how much of this is a result of Leslie going and putting this out in the out into the wild, basically, and releasing the information. But we're going to go take a look straight at this now. I'm going to cut straight in. It's not a particularly long piece because it is breaking, but it's fast moving. It may well grow over time. So we're going to go straight in now. Here goes. Right, so the Shipman sisters, Nicola Sturgeon and Jean Freeman, dodge the code breach complaint, but Hamza Yousaf is still in hot water. The SNP government took 10 weeks to say that ex-ministers cannot be investigated for a breach of ministerial code. Not to be outdone, the COVID-19 campaigner Leslie Roberts, aka Merlin, friend of the channel, the person who is dropping in so much information to us at the moment, she has reported the First Minister instead. So they've come back to her, they said we can't report these, although even though they're no longer ministers, they did breach the code at the time, and they are both still MSPs. So surely there must be some sanction against them. And look at them, smug bunch of killers, almost, perhaps. Got to be careful what I say. The Scottish Government has rebuffed a complaint alleging that Nicola Sturgeon and Jean Freeman broke the ministerial code during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, now Hamza Yousaf could be left to carry the can for his former colleagues, and boy, don't we hope he does. Campaigner Leslie Roberts, aka Merlin, believes the First Minister and her then Health Secretary misled Parliament over 3 key issues. The deadly policy of moving hospital patients untested into care homes, the efficacy of face masks for health and social care workers, and the use of do not resuscitate forms. Now remember, all 3 of these issues were addressed in my interview with Leslie yesterday. So people who haven't seen that video, it's in 2 halves because it got quite long, and we discussed all 3 of these issues in there, and Leslie came to me, and now bang, this has come out the very next day. Somebody is paying attention. She has reported the pair to Police Scotland, with detectives still reviewing allegations of corporate manslaughter under the Health and Safety at Work Act. Miss Roberts also intends to give evidence to the Scottish COVID inquiry. And I'm going to put a little aside here. She originally wanted to give this evidence, and as she explained, because of her standing as a nurse, but also as a union rep, as the health and safety rep, and things like that, she had legal standing, and she should have been invited to that COVID inquiry. And they declined. They actually denied her the right to attend and to give evidence. However, she then joined another group which did have standing with the COVID inquiry, and as such they were invited to attend, and so she is attending as part of that group, and she will give evidence. I think there's going to be a bunch of ministers sitting at the top table watching this, and they're let's just say the old sphincters will be twitching like that. In a 3-pronged attack, she also lodged a complaint about the former ministers with the Ethical Standards Commission, only to be advised to take her concerns directly to the Scottish Government under the Ministerial Code. And now the Ministerial Code So they're saying that the ministerial code can't be investigated because they're no longer ministers. But that seems ethically wrong. The SNP administration ignored her email of the May the 9th for more than 2 months before she finally received a response on Monday, July the 17th. That is today. Finally, she got it today. It reads, please accept our apologies for the delay in responding. I can confirm that as neither Miss Sturgeon or Miss Freeman are serving ministers, nor were they serving ministers at the time you raised your complaint on 9th of May, they cannot be investigated under Scottish Ministerial Code. The Ministerial Code only applies to serving members of the Scottish Government. So the fact that they were ministers, the fact that they may have broke the rules as ministers, and the fact that they're no longer ministers means they cannot be investigated. Doesn't that seem wrong? Doesn't that seem completely unethical? That's sort of saying you can do whatever you like, you can break as many rules as you like, as many laws as you like, and we're not going to investigate because they've resigned before you raised your complaint. That is justice by diktat. This is Banana Republic. This is terrible. Anyway, not to be outdone, Miss Roberts has now requested the First Minister himself be investigated for breaching the code. He replaced Miss Freeman as the Health Secretary after she stepped down in May 2021. Ms Roberts said, it is a typical case of nobody is to blame. Move on. Nothing to see here. They all just protect each other's backs, and it seems as though Sturgeon and Freeman have got away with it. Or at least they have, as far as the Scottish Government is concerned. I am still dealing with the police, and they appear to be very interested in the evidence I have been able to supply. And let me tell you, there's a lot of evidence. From what, I keep calling her Merlin, but we call her Leslie now. From what Leslie has told me and explained to me, and in some cases shown me, there is a lot. And we're talking 30 boxes of evidence. There are terrible, damning evidence going out against this. These two, the Shipman sisters, need to be very, very worried. And I'm not going to say anything else about the evidence because I don't want to taint it. But there's a lot. She added, if it's such a simple answer, why has it taken them more than 2 months to respond? Because they've had to go and look and change rules and make sure that they can get away with it. They've got to protect these two. These two are yesterday's people. They're nothing. They're nobody. Why are they still protecting them? Or is it that code, the code of silence? Because if we don't hang together, we'll all hang apart. That's what it is. And they know if one goes down, they'll just spill the beans and they'll all be going down. In her latest email, sent to Mr Yousaf directly, Miss Roberts says, if you are saying that I cannot report someone who is no longer a minister and I can only report serving Scottish Government ministers, I would now like to report you personally for breaking the Ministerial Code of Conduct for ignoring such serious concerns. As the Health Minister from 2021 onwards, you must have known that the masks that were mass distributed to the care staff were not deemed to be PPE by law, and therefore he was in breach of the law. Miss Roberts, a former infection control link nurse with NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde and the union rep, adds that Mr Yousaf is not fit for office, something we all know. She says the public deserve the truth, and they are certainly not going to get it under your watch, she said to him. It is not clear why the Ethical Standards Commissioner, an independent regulator appointed by the Scottish Parliament, advised Miss Roberts to make a retrospective complaint. Now this is breaking news. This is massive. And Leslie there, Merlin, I still want to call her Merlin. I still like the idea of calling her Merlin. Because she has got talons. And they are coming out. And they are going to snatch that little baby bird, Humza Yousaf, out of his nest and put him to the fire. And we want to all back her, please. Let's all back Leslie. And get those two, Freeman and Sturgeon and him, let's get them up in a court of law. Let's have the police investigating them totally and fully. And believe you me, the evidence is massive. Now, I'm going to come up and round off. And I'd like to make a personal address to all the viewers watching this. As you see, that's a big story there. It's literally just breaking. It's going to go. It's going to grow. This is moving on. Now, Leslie's going to be doing another interview with me over the next few days. I'm certainly going to be questioning about that. So I'm going to ask you, do hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss this because she is now making the news. And of course, she's going to come on here. We're going to talk about that on a one-to-one basis. This is going to be massive, and we're going to push this. We can do all this. We need help. We need support, and that's why I'm asking you, good viewer, hit the subscribe button. Let's grow this. As you subscribe, it pushes the algorithm out. This video and all the other subsequent videos on this subject go out to a bigger audience. Also, please hit the like. But most important, share this on social media. Share this left, right and centre. Share this video with everyone you know. Let's get it growing. Let's get behind Leslie and let's give her the complete support of everyone. Because this is the one chance we have to take those bastards down. Until next time, I thank you. And I will end the video now. But do please subscribe, like and absolutely share the hell out of this video. Thank you and goodbye.